Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Chung Charlie Pham, and today I want to talk to you guys about 3 lessons I've learned while building a $2 million house. So how did I get started in custom home building project? I met my business partner through my wife's friend, which is his wife. We had dinner a few times, talked, and we clicked right away, and he offered me to join into this joint venture that he was starting. And so we started off right away. We went and bought a lot, and of course once we got the lot, we tore down the house that was on it to build this beautiful $2 million house. We chose Dallas, Preston Hollow area because those are where the new constructions are being built. They were tearing down old houses, one-story house, and building these gigantic 7,000 square feet homes. It took us about 7 to 8 months to build, and it then took us about 8 to 9 months to sell, and I'll talk more about that. And the lesson number 1 that I've learned is opportunity cost. Lesson 1 is knowing what is your opportunity cost when you put money into an investment. I wish someone had taught me this or taught me how to analyze this a lot better. For example, if you decide to buy a car, a $20,000 car, well, that $20,000 you could have put into a down payment on a house. That down payment, you could be getting passive income from this property that you buy versus owning a car. I mean, the car, you can drive around obviously, but you don't have to buy a $20,000 car. You can buy a $10,000 car. So opportunity cost is a trade-off. Every decision you make has a trade-off. And knowing what the trade-off is really important. And knowing how to analyze it and knowing how to ask specific question about it is very important. And so I wish someone had taught me how to analyze and understand what my opportunity cost was during that time where I was dumping all this money into this joint venture I was in. And so the amount of money that I put in, close to $1 million, late 2017, I could have taken that money because I was holding that money to put into this project. I couldn't spend it. If I put all my money somewhere else, I wouldn't have enough money to finish this project, and we needed funds. Like, we didn't borrow money from the bank, we did it straight off cash. It was 50-50 cash. And so when I talk about opportunity cost for me was, I had the opportunity. If I didn't put money into that project, I would have had $1 million to go buy a bunch of single family houses that was very affordable at the time. In 2017, those houses were selling for like $115, $120. The market haven't shot straight up as it is today. And so all the rental houses that I have today, they're already double. I mean, some triple. So that means my $1 million, I could have just turned into $2 million in 2 years, in 3 years, easily, not having to do anything. And also with that $1 million, my opportunity cost of making $100K a year, 10% return on $1 million, about $100K a year, better than the bank, better than stocks. So that was my opportunity cost. That's a very big lesson for me, is that it took us 2 years to sell this property. It took us close to a year to build. 7 to 8 months is the average. And then it took us longer to sell because we didn't understand our buyer. And that leads me up to lesson number 2 is understanding who your buyer is. The market for $2 million houses are a lot smaller. So we list this house for 2.5. We're trying to make close to like $700K in profit here, and that was the dream, that was the goal, and we were just pushing for that, and I was so excited for that, and that's why I just keep believing. But eventually we had to drop the price down, and it finally sold at 1.9, and me and my business partner both made 100K, walk out of there 2 years later, I was just like, man, even though I made 100K, I didn't lose money, which is great. I lost a lot of opportunity. But why didn't it sell? The reason why it didn't sell, so in the $2 million range, we had only a handful of buyers, and they're very picky. And some of the things they were looking for was just a pool. They were looking for a big yard, and that's what some of the disadvantages we had. We have a great interior design. It was nice and modern. I mean, marble to the ceiling, master shower, just marble to the ceiling. We're talking about your living room is your shower, and your small bedroom is like your closet. So it's really nice, but they wanted everything. So understanding who is buying your product. And that's very important, especially when you're selling to customers online in e-com. Know who's buying. If you're selling to mothers with kids or single moms with kids, make phone calls, call single moms with kids, or research online until you know everything about them. Go join groups, Facebook groups about mothers, single moms. Don't just rely on guessing. Don't just sit there on Amazon and search for like similar product and try to put it together. Care about them and understand about them enough to where when you sell them a product, you know they will buy. that you have the confidence that they will buy. So lesson number 2 is definitely understanding who's buying your product, understanding your buyers. And that leads us to lesson number 3 is, of course, is understanding the quality of the service that you're paying for. Be willing to pay for quality service versus like looking for a cheap price. So for example, during the process of building this home, I mean, we subcontract a lot of the work out. We were contractors. And we subcontract foundation work, framing, roofing, HVAC, everything subcontracted. And had a bid for plumbing work, the entire house. We're talking about $60,000, $70,000, maybe more in plumbing work that need to be done for the entire home. But we went with a bid that was the lowest. And everybody's licensed, of course. Everybody's licensed, but the quality of work depends based on companies and people. And so they're willing to bid us on the lowest price. But then when you think about what ended up happening was, ended up paying more because we fired the guy, had to rehire somebody else to redo a lot of the work. The first guy was giving us shoddy work. We saw that there was leaking pipes and that was destroying drywall, so we had to clean that up. We had flooring that was leaking, water that was leaking into the floor, and we had these thick, you know, half-inch hardwood floor that soak up water and just buckle up, and we'll have to replace the whole floor. And so that costs us, you know, tens of thousands of dollars in time and slows down on the project. And so think about that. When you hire somebody, if you always look for the cheapest guy or the lowest price, what do you think they do to get the lowest price? They cut corners. They skip some things. Like for example, let's say a guy is doing your marketing promotion. He gives you the lowest price versus the guy that's charging a little bit more. What do you think happens? He has to be hiring somebody that is less qualified hourly and paying them less hourly to do the work. Or he's skipping a few steps so that he can work less to cover for that lower price that he's charging you. So from what I realized is that sometimes always pay for quality service. Pay for it. Be willing to pay for it. You know, pay a little bit more for quality service versus always looking for the lowest price. And it's okay. You know, if you got a quote for something that's a little bit premium, ask. Like, hey, is there anything else you can do for me to help me out? If you don't ask, you don't know. And usually, the guys who's charging me a premium, they'll work with me on the price, but they know when they can't work with you anymore. They say, this is the best I can do. And you're like, okay, cool. And be willing to pay a little bit more, because then now you know that the service level is a little bit better. And of course, check referrals, check their past experience, check their qualification. I mean, there's a lot of things you can do, but of course, sometimes price is the big determinant of how good the service is. That's kind of my experience when it comes to building a $2 million house. Of course, I have more experience during that time frame. There'll be a lot more videos that I'm planning to release about some of my other projects, and especially this one as well. And I'll try to get more entrepreneurs on here to do videos about some of the lessons they've learned in their business. So if you guys enjoy the video, if you guys have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. And a topic that you guys want me to talk about, definitely post it in the comment and I'll try to make a video about that. Thank you again. Please like and comment, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.